Nike employee or a former Nike employee who is making the rounds with a video that is now circulating the internet, talking about the situation involving Nike, Caitlin Clark, the slow play that they're doing, even doing so much to show how their stock is falling off the shelf. And let's talk about this video. You may have seen it by now. I'm going to show it to you again, but it's a former 15-year employee at Nike in the women's division. And
so Adidas just pulled off something so wild. LeBron probably had to double check his own contract. Caitlin Clark completely flipped the script, right? She shook up the whole sneaker industry, and now Nike might actually be sweating through their iconic swoosh. Caitlin didn't just respond, she dropped a bombshell. Now, sneakerheads are questioning everything. Fans are losing their minds, and Twitter, it's absolutely on fire. What did she even say? Why is Nike suddenly in full panic mode? And did Adidas just make the steal of the century? This whole thing is about to get crazy. So buckle up.
Such a big game for Caitlin, her returning to her alumni in Iowa and her hitting that massive logo 3, the logo 3 during the game, that some of her sponsors would want to show her support on social media, do any sort of marketing to uplift her and uplift their brand. And one who did do that was Gatorade. They tweeted a photo of her and they said, "Real home court advantage. Welcome back to Iowa, Caitlin Clark." Now, one of her lead sponsors that was noticeably quiet yesterday was Nike. And a lot of people were tweeting about this. They were wondering, why isn't Nike and Nike basketball, why are none of their accounts saying anything about this? Yes, it's a preseason game, but this is a huge day for Caitlin. She's returning to her.
Look, Caitlin Clark was always more than just a player out there on the court. And apparently, without even really trying, she reportedly dropped a whole stack of receipts on Nike. We're talking lawsuit-level stuff here. Suddenly, that iconic swoosh, it's looking less like a symbol of greatness and more like a sinking checkmark of broken promises. Yeah, you heard that right. It seems Nike actually violated the terms of their agreement. It's like a bad dating app situation with commitment issues. The company that basically invented sports endorsements is now just ignoring its biggest rising star.
Nike, we need to talk about Caitlin Clark. Let's you and me talk about Caitlin Clark, since you refuse to talk about Caitlin Clark. I care deeply about you. I spent over a decade in your marketing organization. I spent several years trying to get into your organization, and it's been 3 years since I left your company. I'm just here as a friend. I care about you. I want to show you two different charts here. One, your stock price since 2021. It is down nearly 60%. Your executives and the people who are making these decisions, their stock options are worthless. Meanwhile, you have the single biggest needle mover in all of American sports since Michael Jordan, and you have somehow convinced yourself that you need to slow play this. Let me show you Google Trends search traffic for 4 female basketball players. There is one who only rivals Caitlin Clark, and that is Angel Reese, and you do not have her. She is
The thing is, let's talk about the cold hard facts here. Nike decided to treat Caitlin Clark, the biggest name in women's basketball right now, like she was just some afterthought stuck in a bargain bin. You just don't hand a generational talent a mediocre contract, while at the same time making every other player in the league look like the next Michael Jordan. Especially when Adidas is over here practically doing power squats with $100 bills, ready to lift up the entire women's sports sector. You just don't do that.
How in the world is Nike not going full on Caitlin Clark phenomenon? You've got the most popular women's athlete in the world. Do they still not have a Caitlin Clark shoe out? My mind is blown by this. The minute that she started playing in the WNBA, you should have rolled out for every little girl in America that Caitlin Clark wants. And that should have been the baddest ass women's tennis shoe that has ever.
Meanwhile, Adidas is acting like a cat, totally focused on laser pointers. They weren't just watching from the sidelines. The moment Caitlin's team looked even a little bit annoyed with Nike, Adidas swooped in. They were like, "Hey, we've got your own line, signature colorways, and an unlimited supply of actual respect." They didn't just send flowers, they sent an entire bouquet of custom branded sneakers. Plus, they brought in a whole team of marketing experts, ready to make her more famous than Taylor Swift, showing up at a gym packed with Swifties.
A lot of conversation has been made around Caitlin Clark, her signature shoe, the Nike deal, and with how much Nike has been dragging their behind, which how much Nike has been moseying to the finish line when it comes to pushing the Caitlin Clark button, fans started speculating maybe this deal isn't as official as we thought it was. We get no signature shoe, no news of a shoe all season long. We get no merchandise all season long. We get no commercial all season.
Caitlin, honestly, just ditch Nike. Seriously, drop them like a bad haircut before prom. You're not just some participant, you are the moment. If Nike can't see that, then hand them a resignation letter and a mirror with one perfectly arched jump shot. And get this, if she joined Adidas, her shoe line wouldn't just sell, it would absolutely shatter sales charts. Even saying her kicks would outsell Wilson's 10-to-1 feels conservative. Kids would be scalping them on StockX faster than you can say, step back 3. People would treat those Clark 1s like sacred relics. Grandparents would be camping out at Foot Locker again just like it was 1996 for Air Jordans. Nike has totally forgotten who they're working with here. Caitlin isn't just a flash in the pan. She's not the flavor of the month. She is the future of this league. But instead of helping her build an empire, they sent her a shoe deal with the enthusiasm of an RSVP to a wedding. Fans went absolutely ballistic when they found out. Hashtags exploded. Threads were written, and even sources from AIM Sports Center on the NBA players' side suddenly became very chatty. And for a second, let's just talk about that Angel Reese marketing picture. Why was it only one picture? And why did she look like she was leaving a photo shoot for a 2010 reality TV reunion special? What kind of weird editorial decision was that?
Caitlin Clark's Nike deal might be the worst endorsement deal in the history of professional sports. You guys remember this billboard that was put up in Iowa? Well, that's one of the last times that Nike has done anything for Caitlin Clark. They promoted her more in college than they have at all the entirety of the WNBA season. She signed an 8-year, $28 million deal with Nike that also included her own signature shoe, which honestly, looking at it now, $28 million for 8 years is an absolute steal for this superstar, when a player like Wemby's Nike deal was rumored to be over $100 million. Caitlin has not only had an incredible rookie season, but she has also transformed the WNBA.
Look, nobody is saying Angel doesn't deserve attention. But here's the thing. How did that become the main representation for your entire rookie class? And Sophie, let's be real. She actually plays for the same team as Caitlin. And unlike half the people in Nike ads, she's a baller with serious numbers. She's just strangely gone missing from their marketing. Where is Sophie right now? Where's the fierce 3-player spread with Caitlin, Aaliyah Boston, and Sophie Cunningham? All with great lighting and attitude. Instead, we get one poorly cropped shot of Angel Reese, looking like she's about to read someone for filth during the Basketball Queens WNBA Edition reunion episode. You completely forget Sophie even exists when she's out there draining jumpers, diving for rebounds, and playing for a team that's basically ground zero for this new wave of women's basketball. This isn't just a poor PR strategy, it's a full-on PR faceplant. It's like picking Jason Derulo for a halftime show when you could have Beyoncé, Rihanna, or Adele. Make it make sense. Adidas, though, they would have made Sophie the new face of their training line, put her on a billboard, and had her tossing shoes into the crowd like candy at a parade after every game. The difference is just embarrassing. This is about to get intense, so let's get back to this shoe fight. Listen to this. Adidas drops the Clark 1 Fire Edition, and they sell out in 4.3 minutes. Kids are crying in the parking lot. Grown men are arguing over toddler sizes.
She feels as though that this Nike deal.
Now, Nike is still out here acting like Caitlin's limited release is some exclusive thing, even though it's actually just super disappointing. They probably thought putting her in a collective transaction would look collaborative. Spoiler alert, it just looks lazy. It's like they decided to throw all the girlies into one bucket and call it a campaign. Clark's fans didn't just notice, they are absolutely furious. If Nike had a suggestion box right now, it would be engulfed in flames. Honestly, at this point, Caitlin might need to realize her brand shouldn't be buried in some boardroom PowerPoint. She's not a bullet point, she is the entire presentation. She makes 40-foot shots look like easy layups. She sells out arenas, and she's inspiring broadcasts all across the country. She built her reputation, her brand, her influence, all without Nike's help. So really, why wouldn't she pick Adidas despite all this? They're fearless, they're hungry, and they're willing to bet the entire house on a woman who has fundamentally changed the rules of the game. If she asked, they'd probably give her an entire division and let her brand it Clark Performance. Let's be real, her fan base would follow her like Moses parting the shoe aisles. Meanwhile, Nike is still playing catch-up, acting like they're late for an exercise class. Caitlyn is nonchalantly redefining what it means to be a rookie celebrity, all while Nike pretends this whole shoe problem doesn't even exist. And of course, that just makes it even more of an issue.
Has been racially motivated. She believes that there's a disparity in how Nike is prioritizing and rewarding athletes like Caitlin Clark. And it's just, she's saying that athletes like Caitlin Clark are getting the better deals compared to other athletes, especially women of color. She additionally expressed her frustration through social media in her podcast, The Reese Life, suggesting that Nike was not treating all WNBA players.
Plus, honestly, this goes way beyond just a footwear contract. It's about visibility, respect, and proper acknowledgement. The whole point is, you can't just slap a one-size-fits-all marketing approach on the world's biggest women's basketball player and hope she won't notice. Spoiler alert, again, she noticed. Everyone noticed. Basically, Nike violated the agreement. And we're not just talking about the legal stuff here. We're talking about the moral compact. The unspoken rule is, you lift us, we lift you. But instead of really lifting Caitlyn up, they basically gave her a dull pen and a copy of some group deal, like it was a napkin assignment from a brand lunch meeting. After signing the biggest endorsement contract in women's sports history, she should be strutting into Adidas headquarters and watching her first signature sneaker burn a swoosh-shaped hole right through the entire industry. And what's more, just when you thought Nike couldn't fumble the bag any harder, they pull off the ultimate narrative twist. They're like, hey, guess what? We're dropping a shoe for Aja Wilson, which, look, is totally great for her in the region. She absolutely deserves it.
All season long, and it had people thinking to themselves, maybe this deal that we all thought was finished and signed and completed isn't as finished, signed, and completed as we thought, or maybe they're renegotiating. Maybe Caitlin Clark on her end pulled back the reins, said, whoa, let's revisit this clause that I said if this doesn't get done in this amount of time, we need to revisit that. People were even speculating that. But today was the Nike quarterly call.
But that brings up the most uncomfortable flaming red flag question ever. Where on earth is Caitlin Clark's shoe? Oh, right, I get it. It's probably sitting in some dusty Google Drive folder, next to a list of everyone Nike completely forgot to contact. Meanwhile, during the NBA Finals, Angel Reese is getting more screen time with Nike than LeBron's Cavaliers. Ads, promotions, interviews, billboards, she is everywhere. And it's like Nike is determined to make her the face of the league's next chapter, even though Caitlyn is literally carrying the rookie class on her back like she's got a backpack full of bricks and incredible court vision. This whole thing is starting to feel less like a smart marketing tactic and more like a midlife sneaker meltdown, or even a full-blown identity crisis. Because while Caitlyn is lighting up arenas, pulling in record-breaking viewership, and sending social media into a frenzy every time she sinks a 30-footer, Nike is busy handing the megaphone to athletes whose most viral highlights involve a tie, not incredible offense.
Nike has been having one horrible week in the media, bro. And what's crazy is that everything started off great. They put out a wonderful Super Bowl commercial. Everybody was for Nike. You want to know what Nike did? Shot themselves in their own foot, man. Everybody's weighing in on this situation. We know they put out the wonderful Caitlin Clark commercial over the last weekend in the Super Bowl. Then the very next day, they messed up, put out another commercial. Didn't even mention Caitlin Clark's name at all. And then just yesterday, they re-edited the damn commercial and did a voiceover over it. Like, my goodness. If I was Nike, I'd just be quiet right now.
Caitlin Clark is so much more than just an athlete. She's a total cultural phenomenon. So for Nike to treat her like the girl you only call when your other brand reps are busy, that's just absurdly out of touch. If this were a dating show, Nike would be in the corner texting you at 2 a.m. while Adidas would be walking over with roses and a handwritten sonnet. Now, They want us to get hyped about Aja's shoes again. Look, I love Aja. She's an absolute monster on the court. But Nike is trying to sell us a stale croissant with sprinkles, yelling, "It's trendy," all while completely ignoring the top seller who's making them money every single time she performs. And Caitlyn hasn't been quiet, by the way. She's out there building the league, being courteous, playing hard, and showing up. Yet, instead of being the main event, she's treated like a pleasant addition. Imagine Tom Brady winning his first Super Bowl and being told, "Cool, but actually we're using the backup kicker in a new Gatorade ad instead." Adidas wouldn't even risk that. By now, Adidas would have Caitlyn Clark's face plastered on sneaker tongues, cereal boxes, and probably even the moon.
Sports Porters, let's talk about Caitlyn Clark and Nike. All right, now I got to thinking about yesterday's event, and that's what it was. This was a sporting event we witnessed yesterday afternoon between the Fever and the Brazil national team. You want to know why Caitlyn Clark games are different, haters? It's because her games are an actual event that you appointment television.
And a whole Clark campaign by Adidas would involve QR codes for holographic signature debuts, behind-the-scenes training videos, maybe even a line of personalized stepbacks. Plus, let's just be honest, Adidas shoes right now are just far better, sleeker, more productive, and they're not afraid to innovate. Over here, Nike is just remastering the same old silhouettes, like they're a history museum, not an athletic company. Nike's whole approach is starting to look like a baby picking favorites based on who hands them candy. Yes, we're looking at Angel Reese again, because let's not forget, while Caitlyn is dealing with sold-out arenas and double teams, Angel's most recent headlines have been all about Instagram live drama and post-game interviews that sound more like disses than actual sports commentary. Yet, Nike rolls out the red carpet for her. Seriously, make that make sense. Nike is starting to resemble that one group project participant who insists on doing the presentation even though they didn't do any of the actual work.
2 years. The Asia Wilson sneaker was reportedly kept a secret. 2 years. While last year Nike's being drugged through the coals because Asia Wilson doesn't have a sneaker, yet people are screaming for Caitlyn Clark to have a sneaker. And then they make it seem like they change course and Asia Wilson's gonna get a sneaker first. But 2 years, a 2-year lie. That's what happened yesterday in the unveiling of the Asia Wilson sneaker by Nike.
So Nike's answer to Caitlyn basically carrying the entire squad is just, cool, but what if we hyped someone else instead? Honestly, at this point, this feels more like brand sabotage than any actual planning. Nike didn't just miss the boat, they missed the entire marina. And when you think about the long term, it's pretty offensive. Nike would be printing gold-plated checks by now if they had truly prioritized Caitlyn Clark from the very beginning. Every single sneaker drop would be a massive cultural event. Every ad would be trending for days. Clark's supporters are some of the most active, outspoken, and devoted fans in the history of women's sports. And watching Nike repeatedly reject her, it's not just annoying, it feels personal. It's an insult to the people who are actually responsible for the league's growing relevance. It's like asking Swifties to buy tickets to a Nickelback concert and pretending it's the same experience. Meanwhile, Adidas is just lurking in the background like a Bond villain with a golden heart, waiting for the perfect moment to swoop in and give Caitlyn all the respect, attention, and creative freedom she's clearly not getting from the swoosh crew.
Right, if I recall. I mean, I could swear I remember that. And because of that, largely a lot of players didn't like Caitlyn Clark very much last year. They had to teach her a lesson by absolutely fouling the ever-loving shit out of her. But let's talk about it. Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Rudy's Rant, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. I'm your host, Rudy Rodriguez Shomont, aka Rudy the Hammer. This is where we talk facts over feelings. To all you who are back again, I appreciate y'all. Please be sure to like the video, leave a comment. And for those of you who are new, please be sure to pound that like button, subscribe to this channel, and leave a comment. Nike unveiled Asia Wilson sneaker.
You've got the most popular women's athlete in the world. Do they still not have a Caitlin Clark shoe out? My mind is blown by this. The minute that she started playing in the WNBA, you should have rolled out for every little girl in America the Caitlin Clark ones. And that should have been the baddest ass women's tennis shoe that has ever been made in the history of Nike. How are you burying Caitlin Clark inside of a garbage ad, Nike, where you claim that the reason why women's athletes aren't successful is because of misogyny? What? Do you know men watch more women's athletics than women do? If misogyny actually existed, no male sports fans would watch women's sports, and they would be even less popular than they already are. Most Caitlin Clark fans.
The game is completely over if she says yes, because one thing is crystal clear. Adidas plus Caitlin Clark equals total dominance. Not just on the court, but in terms of relevance, marketing, and culture. Nike executives would be waking up in a cold sweat, asking themselves, why didn't we just give her the shoe? Because it would send a seismic shockwave right across the entire sports world. And if that happens, it's more than just a lost opportunity. It's a branding disaster. It's fumbling the bag. You just can't afford to make a mistake with this one star. It's watching a future legend walk right into your rival's arms without even trying to stop her. So, in the end, even though Angel Reese is getting all this attention from Nike, Caitlin Clark is the one who truly deserves it. The scoreboard knows it, the league knows it, and every single fan knows it. And Nike needs to get ready for the day Caitlin Clark signs with Adidas. Unless they've got some super top secret, massive rollout plan that includes a parade, a spaceship, and a sneaker drop on Mars. Because that iconic swoosh could easily turn into a big sigh the moment she does.